everyone, and thank you for joining us on our inaugural A-plus Enhanced Athletes Culturally Inclusive Recipe. This is Catherine Dollison. I am the Fractional Chief Marketing Officer and Strategy Lead for A-plus Enhanced Athletics, and today I am going to show you how to make jerk chicken thighs with black bean mango salsa. Now, the first thing that we're going to do here, as you can see, is I'm preparing the mangoes. So what I used was actually 2 yellow mangoes, and then I used about 1 cup of frozen mango. So that way it kind of had a little bit of variety as far as like meatiness and things like that. In addition to that, I added 3 tablespoons of black beans. You're going to see that in addition to the recipe, the cilantro, the bell pepper, it does actually call for some salt and pepper. So in this recipe, I actually excluded any additional salt. So if something called for soy sauce, I would put that in there, but anything else, I did not add any salt. So I will give you the modified recipe as well as the original recipe, and you all can figure it out. So if you can see it right here, I got incredibly bored with chopping up the bell pepper. So I was like, what the hell am I doing? Why don't I just use a food processor? If you got a food processor, great. If you don't, unfortunately, I'm afraid you'll have to be chopping. And I want to say that you want to keep the thickness of any of the ingredients about a ½ an inch thick. All right, so in addition to that, this whole recipe will call for 1 onion. So I have the half of the red onion right now that I'm about to go ahead and process here. That is for the Mango Black Bean Salsa. So right now, here are all the ingredients that we got so far. We got garlic, onion, red pepper, mango, obviously. And at this point, I think there is just that with lime and pepper, actually, and the 3 tablespoons of black beans. That's about it. Actually, what you just saw was me grinding in pepper. So yeah. Then I went ahead and mixed it with my hand. Obviously, if you don't want to do that, if you're not one of those people that likes to mix food with their hands, I do love to be hella hands-on with my recipes, but it is a matter of preference, I would suppose. And now what you're seeing is I'm creating the marinade. So in the recipe that you're going to see linked down below, you will see that it calls for no ginger. I put ginger in there, so you'll see that later on in the video. And you'll also see that the recipe called for like 5 habaneros and, in my opinion, not enough liquid. So what you're going to see here is I'm creating the marinade. That is the soy sauce. We got olive oil in there. Then putting things to the side, I'm putting all of the spices in there now. So we got the brown sugar, there's going to be allspice, there's cinnamon in there, there's thyme, and I feel like there's something else. You'll see that in the recipe, but unfortunately I cannot remember here, and I'm not zoomed up close enough to be able to see exactly what them damn recipe tops say. But essentially, this is also where I was talking about where there is pepper and salt that's called for. I just kept the low sodium soy sauce in, along with the nutmeg and the allspice and the thyme and the cinnamon. Yeah, I think that's it. I actually think I remembered everything. Good job, Catherine. Yes. So anyway, but I got to tell you, you see we're doing it right now. When I am cutting up this pepper, the waft of the oil gets in my nose, and I'm like, this is going to be way too spicy. So as you can see, those 3 peppers have been discontinued. They're not being added. I'm not using them. I just did 2 habanero peppers. If you're super into spicy stuff, please feel free to use all 5 and comment below and tell me how it tastes. I was worried that my colon would not be very happy with me. And right now, I'm going to go ahead and take a break in between to let you know if you want to see more videos like this, please like and subscribe for more culturally inclusive content. Obviously, this is a pretty big recipe. Honestly, it could probably feed about 3 people. However, I was very low on protein, and so was my husband. So we took the 5 chicken thighs, and then we divided that up between the 2 of us. 3 of them were quite small, so really it's probably about the equivalent of maybe 4.5. But yes, because the recipe is big enough for about 3 people, you'll see that I had to create the marinade in 2 different batches. And also, you just saw earlier me putting some extra liquid in there. There we go. It's marinating. Marinate that bad boy for up to 1 day. Honestly, the lowest you can do is probably about 5 hours, I would say. So now what you're seeing me do right now is I've got it on about medium-high temperature just so I can create a char. It's about 6 minutes on each side. So just help me turn it. I'm turning it once again, and now I'm covering it just so that way it can go ahead and make sure that it cooks the inside as well as having that char on the outside. All right, and then what you can see that I've done here is I've kind of created a Caribbean rice and peas. Obviously, it's not going to be nearly as delicious because there's a lot of stuff missing, but what I did was I took all of the flavorings from the chicken and essentially I cooked peas in it, and then you'll see me later on in the recipe mix it with rice. So there it is, cooking and simmering and bimmering. Bimmerin's not a word, but it can be in this episode. And then you see me putting a little bit of soy sauce in there just for some flavoring. That's about 2 tablespoons, I would say. Mixing things up. And now the platery. The platery is happening. This is what I was talking about with mixing the rice with the peas that have now absorbed all the flavorings of the jerk chicken. And I'm mixing that all together, putting it on 2 plates. And then, as you can see, I am far too hungry to wait to bring it to a table, so I'm taking a bite then. Honestly, the recipe was super easy to make. Other than marinating it, I would say the whole thing takes anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes end to end with prep. It's packed with lean protein, it's packed with fiber, and there are so many recovering, boosting nutrients. So it's perfect for building muscle and crushing your next workout. So this was Catherine Dollison, the fractional CMO and lead strategist for A+ Enhanced Athletes. Please stay tuned. We will do one of these for Meal Prep Monday. Okay? Thanks. See you next Monday. Bye.